What's up, guys? So, as promised, here is my review for Guardians of the Galaxy, leading up to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which my review for that will be up a week today. So, let's get started talking about the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Some might want to call it a classic superhero film. And the film stars Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon, Vin Diesel, John C. Reilly, Glenn Close as the head of the Nova Corps. She's Nova Prime in this, which is the kind of the military police force of the galaxy in this universe. And you get Lee Pace as the villain, Ronan the Accuser. And the basic, very simple plot of the movie is everybody's after this orb that contains an Infinity Stone. And yeah, everybody's after the orb. So here's our film. Now you might think that that's very dull, or it could be very dull. Well, this movie's been out for, what, 3 years now, and if you've seen the film, you do know that the movie's not dull. There are going to be some brief spoilers in this review. I mean, like I said, it has been out for 3 years, so you've been warned. But this movie's not dull at all. I think what James Gunn had to do is introduce the universe. He had to introduce the world of the Guardians of the Galaxy. This is like a space opera kind of thing. There's a lot of like nods to like Star Wars and stuff. Definitely nods to Star Wars and Indiana Jones with Star-Lord's character, or Chris Pratt's character, Star-Lord. He has a lot of similarities to Indiana Jones and to Han Solo. You know, the very opening scene of the film where we're introduced to him as Star-Lord. He has to kind of steal the orb, just like the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark with Indiana Jones. So there's a lot of similarities, and I think Chris Pratt really played the role wonderfully. I think he's a fantastic action star. He got into shape for this film, and he did a great job, and that also shows in Jurassic World, and I can't see what he has to do. I can't wait to see what he has to do in the next one, Guardians Volume 2. But he is a very entertaining character. He is a very interesting character. The very first scene of the film, we see him as a young boy. We see his mother passes away in front of him, and then he gets abducted by Yondu and taken into the galaxy. And as we are led to believe later on in the film, that Yondu was hired to deliver Star-Lord to his father, which he fails on doing in the movie. He kind of keeps him to do his own dirty work. Which Yondu is also another great character in the film. He has a lot of comedic moments in the movie. Not as much as the other characters, but when he is on screen, you are intrigued, and he is a fun character. You know, he starts out as this kind of menacing character almost. You know, he's wanting to put a bounty on Quill and all this stuff. But later on in the film, you do see that Yondu does have a sweet side to him, but when he has to be serious, he is. And I think Michael Rooker, I believe, is the actor that plays Yondu. I think he did a fine job in the role. Now, talking about the other Guardians of the film, you know, like I said, James Gunn had to kind of introduce us to all these guys and make us care about them, or really the film wouldn't work, and I think that he accomplished that wonderfully. Next, being Rocket Raccoon, being my favorite Guardian. Honestly, I think he's one of the best characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, hands down. Just because he's so likable, he's hilarious, and Bradley Cooper does a phenomenal job of bringing him to life. Like, he's hilarious. You know, there's this ongoing joke throughout the movie that he wants, like, this guy's prosthetic leg just for the hell of it, or he wants like some guy's fake eye or whatever, and he just wants the stuff just for the hell of it, just for comedic sake, and it works hilarious. Like he's telling Star-Lord, I need this and this and this to escape the prison that they're in, and he also says, I need that guy's prosthetic leg. And you know, Star-Lord, he just met the Rocket Raccoon, so he's just like, okay, I'll get the guy's leg, and the guy's just like, you need my what? It's hilarious. But you also care about Rocket Raccoon because there's a scene where everybody's drunk right before they're about to go see the Collector, and he kind of breaks down because, you know, Rocket's sick of people calling him a rodent. So you do kind of latch onto this character because he wasn't asked to be created, but he is a very likable character, and he's a very heroic character too. He's a very awesome character in action as well, and that leads to his sidekick, Groot. Which we just kind of care about Groot because he is Groot. Groot is like the Chewbacca of this movie. And if you think about it, like I said before, Star-Lord has a lot of similarities to Han Solo. Well, if you think about it, Rocket Raccoon kind of does as well. Not for the reasons you might think, but only because, Han is the only one that understands Chewie, and Rocket is the only one that understands Groot. And they have that kind of similar back and forth. Their scenes together. In the very first scene that we see them, and they're kind of, Rocket's kind of looking for people that have a bounty on them so they could get money and take them down. They want to get rich. And Groot's just drinking the water, and Rocket says, what does he say? That's disgusting. Don't drink that. And he says, I am Groot. And he says, well, why are you lying to me? I saw you do it. Why are you lying? Which is, it's just great dialogue. It's hilarious stuff. But it's kind of like the similar stuff in The Force Awakens with Han and Chewie, kind of like when they're like, oh, you're a war hero, talking to Han Solo, and they look at Chewbacca, and he just goes, I don't know what he is, who the hell cares what he is? It's great. It's great humor, and it really worked. And like I said, you do care about Groot because he is Groot, and he does have a lot of similarities to Chewbacca. You care about him for pretty much the same reason why you care about Chewie. He's heroic. He's comedic, and he's just that kind of character, which works in this movie. And as for Drax, the Destroyer, played by Dave Bautista, his wife and daughter were killed by Ronan the Accuser, so, that's kind of his motivation, as he wants to kill Ronan. He wants to get revenge on Ronan. And that's kind of what's motivating him through the film. And he starts out, we're introduced to Drax as maybe this intimidating character, but then in the very same scene, we see that this guy has a soft spot kind of to him. And he has a lot of likable qualities to him, because when Star-Lord comes and he's trying to save Gamora, he's just like, listen, you could kill Ronan yourself. He goes, you could, do this. And Drax is just like, why would I slit his throat? And he says, no, it's like a metaphor for killing him. And he's just like, I would rip his whole head off or something like that. And he's just like, oh, Star-Lord. I think Star-Lord says, oh, it just went over your head. And he goes, nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. It's hilarious. I think James Gunn nailed the comedy in this movie. Even from characters like John C. Reilly, towards the end of the movie, when he gets the message from Peter Quill and he has to go up to Glenn Close's character, and he has to, relay the message. And he's like, he said that he's not 100% a dick, but he is also kind of a dick. And Glenn Close says, you believe him? And he says, well, I don't believe everybody's 100% a dick. It's just the stuff that's just thrown out of left field. Or the scene when Rocket is standing there, right before the final battle takes place, and they're all kind of standing together saying, we'll die for each other because we're friends now. They've all grown this bond. And Rocket just stands up. He says, all right, you happy I'm standing? We're just a bunch of jackasses standing in a circle. He doesn't say it like that, but that line in general, it's hilarious. And I remember dying laughing when I first saw that in the theater. And it's hilarious. And like I said, James Gunn did a fantastic job directing this movie and writing this movie. The action, everything. The movie it flows wonderfully. He did a great job with it. But the final Guardian that I didn't talk about is Gamora. And to me, I think she is the least interesting Guardian because, sure, she's Nebula's sister and she's Thanos' daughter, and she's trying to get away from that life. But other than that, she just plays as a love interest to Peter Quill, and she's just this cool character that we're supposed to latch onto. No, I didn't dislike her. I just think out of all the Guardians, she is the least interesting. But she is still a very cool character. I think the weakest character in the film, by far, is Ronan the Accuser, which, these Marvel movies have been suffering kind of weak villains for the most part. Aside from Loki, or I even like Ultron as a villain, to be honest with you. And there's a few other ones that are good in the mix, but I would say Ronan falls into the category of a very weak villain. He's just there because he wants power and he wants to rule. That's really it. It's kind of a cliched story. There's really no development there, for us to care. So that's really the only negative I have with this movie, though. This is a fantastic film with fantastic CGI. It's one of my favorite films in the MCU. The soundtrack is phenomenal. The score is phenomenal. And James Gunn did a great job, as I said. And overall, I'm going to give Guardians of the Galaxy 4.5 out of 5 stars. Like I said, the only reason why it's not a perfect movie is because of the villain. But other than that, the movie is pretty flawless. Guys, comment your thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy. What do you think about the movie? Are you excited to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? I sure am. Comment your thoughts on that down below. Also, you can subscribe to this channel, because like I said, a week today I'll be posting my review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I'll also be doing a spoiler review between two videos, a non-spoiler and a spoiler review, so you can check that out next weekend, starting next Friday, as I said. And also next Friday, I'll be continuing my series of Pirates of the Caribbean reviews leading up to Dead Men Tell No Tales, with the second review in the series, Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest. And that review is going to go up Friday night, when the Guardians 2 review is going to go up in the afternoon sometime. Blu-ray unboxing I just posted for La La Land. That's on the channel now. I do trailer reactions. If you're new to the channel, I've just done one yesterday for Cars 3, the official trailer, so you can check that out. Guys, you can follow me on Facebook and on Twitter. The links to those are in the description of this video. You can also follow me on Snapchat at RyanKing72 and on Instagram at KingOfRises131. Guys, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching my review for Guardians of the Galaxy. Over and out.
I'm high on believing that you're